Alright, so I'm going to open up another two files in the folder selection and shadows. Just open up both of those files. So this is just a very quick example just to show the difference between a good selection, the one on the left, versus a bad selection, the one on the right. That's just a quick giveaway that it's a really bad rendering. This is really obvious with feet being cut off. You actually see a lot of white space. The fingers are not selected properly. So essentially what you want is something similar to the person on the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this person on the left and place them in this, this file. There's a couple ways of doing it. One way is making sure that you're on that current layer. So layer 0, right click, duplicate layer, and I'm going to send this one to the Calder JPEG. So there it is. I'm going to move this person, and just scale them up. Go to free transform. From now on, I'm going to be using the shortcut Apple D or Control D or T. Sorry. And I'll hold down Shift key to keep this proportional. Make this person a little bit larger. And just hit enter to accept those changes. Now I have this person standing here. And I'm going to show you two different ways of making this person look as if they're on the other side of the sculpture. So because I'm going to do that, I'm going to copy this person. Use the move tool, hold down Alt, and you can copy them out of the way and turn that off. So one way to make this person look like he's on the other side of the sculpture is to delete the pixels that make up this person. Make sure you're on the correct layer. I'm going to temporarily bring down the opacity. Again, using the polygon lasso tool. Just make a very quick selection around this person, making sure you're clicking on the edge of the sculpture. Once you've done that, just delete those pixels. Command or Control D to deselect those pixels and bring the opacity back up. So that's one way to make it look like this person's on the other side of the sculpture. The one bad thing with this is because of the way we did it, this person can only stand in this one position, because as soon as you move this person, it no longer makes sense because the pixels are actually deleted. So another way of accomplishing the exact same thing, I'm going to turn the copy back on, move this back into place. I'm going to make a large rectangle selection around this person and around the sculpture. Something equivalent to that. I'm going to come over here to my background. I'm going to go to duplicate. I'm going to right click, duplicate layer, and just hit OK. So essentially what that's done is it's made a copy of my layer in the exact same location. Right, I'm going to turn off the original background, so I only have background copy turned on. And essentially what I want to do is I want to delete the rest of these pixels. So I'm going to go to Select Inverse, hit delete. Make sure you're on background copy. Hit delete. And then Command or Control D. So now I'm going to hide this person. So the only layer that I have turned on is this background copy. And using, so you could either, at this point, you can use the polygon lasso tool, or you can use, we might be able to use this quick selection tool. Yeah, that's pretty good. Select inverse. That's close enough. If it leaves something like this, that's okay. What I'm really concerned with is trimming the perimeter of the sculpture. So you have something similar to this. I'm going to turn on the background. And I'm going to turn on this person. So if I just reshuffle my layers, and I put this person in between background and background copy, what's really happening is if I turn off my background layer, this person is literally just essentially just behind this part. So if I move him around, it essentially looks like he's on the other side of the sculpture, but now I have a little bit more freedom as to where I want him, where I want to place him. As long as I don't move him too far out of the way, where it's out of that area that I copied, then he's pretty much in good shape. And this is just another way of doing this that gives you a little bit more control or freedom as to where to place this person after the fact. I could also scale this person down a little bit, make him look like he's standing. I'm just hitting Control T for free transform. Like he's standing a little bit further off in the background. Alright, so now we're going to give this person a shadow. I'm going to move this person over here. Make him a little bit larger. So a couple different ways of doing shadow. One is doing a very quick shadow. Make sure you're on the correct layer. You can go to Effects and Drop Shadow. You can add just a very quick drop shadow to this person. You can adjust where the shadow is coming from, the opacity of the shadow, the distance, the spread of the shadow. But essentially all this shadow is giving you is just essentially just copying the pixels that make up this person and just offsetting them. Using this drop shadow is it's a really quick way of setting up shadows, but if you want an elongated shadow, this is not going to make that possible. But using drop shadows is pretty handy, pretty quick way of doing it. And you can also turn these off individually. I'm just going to delete them by dragging it to the trash can. Alright, so once I have this person, I'm going to make a copy, move tool, alt key, and just move this person out of the way. I just made a copy of him. On the copied version, what I want to do is I want to use the copied version as the shadow. So what I want to do is I want to select the pixels that make up this person. So two different ways of doing this is on the picture over here. If I right click, I can go select pixels, and it selects the pixels that make up this person. Or if I hover my mouse over the image and hit Command, or on my Mac it's Command, and I can click on that icon on the image under my layers, it does the exact same thing. And now what I can do is I can delete those pixels. I'm going to go to my foreground and background colors. The foreground, I'm going to give it like a dark gray color. And use the paint bucket tool. Or I can go to edit fill. Foreground color. There's a few spots that are missing. Just going to go back with the paint bucket tool. Make sure I get all the spots. And then hit Control D to deselect that. So now this person is now the shadow. So the way to make the actual shadow work, I'm going to move this person up a little bit. So again, I'm going to free transform or Command T. And this time I'm going to right click. And you have a few different options in here. Not only do you have scale and rotate, but you also have skew, distort, perspective, and warp. So I can start off with skew, for example. And I can skew this. I can distort it. And right now, I don't have any shadows in my scene, so I really don't have to match anything. But the one thing you just want to pay attention to is if you are doing this on your rendering, you want to make sure all your shadow lines match and going in the same direction. You could also go back to skew and adjust it however you like. Or perspective or warp. But once you get the shadow in the direction that you wanted to go into, just hit enter. Just make sure that the shadow is actually coming from the person's feet. Make sure the shadow is below the person. And if you want, you can give this opacity. And now you have this person that has an elongated shadow. If you don't want the shadow to be so sharp, you can take one extra step and go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And you can, the higher the radius, the more blurring effect it's gonna get. So I'll just make sure it's just slightly blurry, 2.3. Hit OK. And now this person has a fake elongated shadow.